Hello friends. So you want to do a graphic design, you want to create something, you need a logo, something visual, and you don't know how to start. You never did this before. Which tool should I use? What should I work with? What is out there? Just to make sure, I will just give you how I do it, and I will tell you how I do it, and I will tell you how I approach things, and there are maybe 1,000 other ways how you can also do it, but the way I do it is yeah, at least for me, the, let's say, most efficient way. So for me it's like this. The first thing you have to do, you have to understand two different things that are very important. That is the distinction between what is a picture and what is a vector file, or it's called vector. It's based on a formula, and it's like a shape. What's the difference between a pixel based image and a shape based image is? Let's formulate it like this. And that's the first thing that you have to understand, and that's what I want to talk about later. And I think I will just jump in right away. I would say the best tool, it depends on what you want to do. When you want to create, let's say, a sheet of paper with text file on it, when there's a lot of text file in it, when you want to write something and you have some images and a bit of a text, then it's a difference between that, or if you want to, let's say, work on an image and want to rebuild the image in some kind of a way, like remove the background or something like that. That's a different kind of approach. So there are some very interesting tools out there. So the first tool, I think the most advanced tool you can use is Photoshop. So from Adobe, you can do basically everything in Photoshop. And Photoshop by itself is based on the biggest strength of Photoshop is it is pixel based. So you can really tweak, remove, and change everything that is in an image, and image with which is pixel based. So what does pixel based mean? So let me just open Photoshop for you. You can see here are two different types, the two different variations here come together. First, the background is a picture of this woman here, and you can see a text file be in the front of the image, and all sorts of texts, all sorts of typography, all sorts of shapes, like for instance when I'm creating a shape, everything that is above this is based on vector. This is a shape. Basically the shape has a specific form, and the form is translated into a formula, and the formula is just showing up as this. So the big advantage of this is you can see, if you when you scroll or when you zoom in, you can see the difference. The difference is an image has its limitation in size, but the vector image never has. One thing, I mean, you might ask, why can you just create an image out of vector? That's not possible, because an image like this, like when you make a photo on your phone or something camera, is just making hundreds of thousands of dots. You can see small dots, and they will represent, you can see here, each one has one color, and that's basically a pixel. And when you zoom out, you see that this is at the end leading to this image. So you cannot make it bigger than you have shooted it in your shooting. So whatever camera you use the biggest possible size, so you have more depth in your image, but you are limited in scale. So when you want to, let's say you want to print something in very big scale and put it on the wall of your house, for example, you will need to have a good camera at least, and the resolution has to be as big as possible, so that you have a lot of dots that you are shooting. So the bigger the image, the more information you have in your JPEG, and the bigger the file size will be. So at the end, when you have a big information coming in, so you imagine every point here has to be remembered, so it has to be saved. So the image will be containing a lot of information. A vector image, instead of that, is just containing a formula which says go from here to here to here to here, and a color. So that's basically the information. I mean, you can obviously you can do a lot of more things with a vector image, but the vector image is always has always a lower file size, and it is for a different purpose, like writing a text. The shape of the text is based in vector. So that's the difference between the two. So you need to know how you interact with these things. So when I export this image, for instance, for a print file, I can make it really big. Then I will end up with a very sharp and clear font or typography, but I will end up also with a very unsharp and blurry kind of image. So you have to combine those two in a good way, and then you can work with this very smoothly. So Photoshop, the strength of Photoshop is to manipulate pixel. So you can really work on images perfectly. You also can work on vector image. I like to work on vector images as well in Photoshop. Some people use Illustrator or other vector-based tools like InDesign or Illustrator, but you can do everything also in Photoshop. So that's why I like working with Photoshop, because you can see here you can create different shapes, you can combine them in all sorts of a way. You can work with text files, you can work with a lot of let's say vector-based elements. So that's really nice and helpful. And Photoshop basically is the most advanced way of preparing your design, and the basic structure is based on pixels, so you manipulate pixel. But as I said, you can do everything with Photoshop. You can feel free, but this is not the a free version, so you have to, there's no free version available. There's just a trial period, I think, for 1 month. You can you can just test it for 1 month. You can then make an abo with that, and you have to pay monthly. I think 25 euros would be the starting point here, I guess. So that's one way how to do it in the most advanced way. When you want to create, let's say you want to create social media images, something, but you don't have any idea what to do, so you are a bit confused on what to do and how it should look like, and you need inspiration, I would really recommend you work with Canva. With Canva you can just search for something that is already pre-designed, and you just need to go in and select one whatsoever, and you can start pretty quickly with something that is already there, and you can change it. So that's the easiest way on when you say you're not creative enough, you have no idea what to do, and you need a specific letter or something, a teaser or whatsoever you need for the internet, a post or a headline or something, or a new style, a new design for something, you can really dig into Canva and create very quickly a very nice design. Let's say you want to invite someone to your birthday party and you don't know how to do it. You go here, you type in that you need a birthday card, you select from hundreds of thousands of images the one that you like the most, and then you add it here, and you can edit the text, and you can you can really use this as a free tool as long as possible. There is no limitation here. They want to get you into a paid version as well. Sure, they will limit you with some export options, but most of the things that you really need you can do. Like you can download the image, you can work on this for a very long time without even thinking about applying to their structure here, payment structure. So this is very helpful for starting something new, creating content. Let's say you want to have content for Instagram or whatsoever. You need to come up with a lot of new ideas on a daily basis. So that's a great inspiration. Also here you can just select something and change it quickly. So that's something you can really do. The limitation of this is that you have to work with, that's always the tool. All tools that are like this are limited in terms of you cannot manipulate pixel at the same level as you can do it with Photoshop. There's no other tool. Maybe there is, but there's no equivalent tool that can do the same with removing backgrounds, with doing, I mean, in Canva you can remove backgrounds, sure, but the tool will do it for you, and it might be not that accurate like when you will do it with Photoshop. So, but in Photoshop you have the freedom of really doing everything, but you need to go to this level first. So otherwise you're a bit lost. And so you are a bit limited in Canva with what you can do, and on pixel level, so on really changing the elements. But you can really arrange things, you can design things, you can create basically everything in Canva. And yeah, for me personally, the sweetest and nicest tool is Figma. It's really amazing if you want to create whatsoever. You can create everything basically. It's like you have a big white wall, and you can create presentations, you can present things, you can collaborate with other people, you can design things, you can get a quick overview over a lot of things that you do, and you have an app that you have outside of the web window, so you can just work with the actual tool. You have a very let's say sleek structure, so there's not an overload. It's very, you have here the layers, and here are the things that you can adjust, and in the middle you have a big screen where you can just put in everything that you want. You can arrange things very easily, you can export things very quickly. This is for me the best tool to work with, and you also can use the free version, and you can basically you never need to change from the free version to a paid version, because you can just there are a lot of ways how you can work with this tool without needing without the need to just pay for it. And yeah, as you can see, you have all the elements there. It's free. There's a lot of inspiration as well possible here. It's not similar, like it's not in the same way as it is on Canva, but you have a lot of inspiration as well. You can implement a lot of things. You can even work as I said, you can work in the design mode, or you can work in the presentation mode. There are these two modes. When you work in the design mode, you can switch to a developer mode as well. So you can send the code directly to your developer, and he can implement it on your website. Let's say you make a website, you design the website, and you can export the HTML code directly to the developer, and that's amazing. That's really an amazing tool to work with. Also, the limitation here is you cannot manipulate pixel in the same way as you do it in Photoshop. So whatever you want to really adjust in terms of, let's say you want to remove something, you want to remove a background, you want to change a color, you want to replace something, you want to reduce dirt, you want to create a new, I don't know, you want to change the image in some kind of a way, you have to do it with a different tool. I use Photoshop for that, and mostly I use Figma to get an overview. Let's say you have 10 different product images, you have different variations of something, you can really see it all together, and you're not stuck in just windows, and you get an overview over everything that you're doing, and you can still design this. That's the difference between let's say a Miro board, which is just based on presentation. You can present things, but you cannot design things inside of that, so you're a bit limited in that. So in Figma I don't need Miro anymore, because I can do basically the same thing. I can also collaborate with other people, and as I said, you have a free version. There's not much need to just change that. It's also, from the pricing perspective, very low. It's a good pricing tool. The pricing from the tool is very, very nice and very cool. So I recommend working with different tools. I use all of them for specific situations. As I said, sometimes I'm just designing. Let's say I have designed my website here, and I've designed it for different mobile versions as well. So for different screen sizes, I used, I think, 6 different screen sizes, and they put them all together to see that they're looking very similar, and I can really work in each one separately and see it together how they look like, and then I can export that to my developer, and he can really just copy and paste all the things that are there. I also use it for, let's say, arranging my product images for my e-commerce business. So I can just put all the images together and see how they look. If it's something is off there. I do my branding in Figma as well, where I can see how, like a style guide, I can create a little style guide to put my logo in, to see how my logo interacts. I did a lot of logos also in Figma, so that's also a very nice and easy way to just do your logo. Basically, when the logo is based on vector, on a font, on typography. So it depends on what you do, but to work with those tools is very easy. You can just start with Figma, and you can see how far you can push it. And at some point, maybe you will need some more advanced image preparation. So then you have to jump to Photoshop. Maybe there are a lot of alternatives out there, a lot of tools that you also can use to just create what you want. As I said, you can remove backgrounds also in Canva and in Figma, but it's different. So it's based on an engine that is implemented there. And you have to use these tools, and probably the tools are not free at all levels. And at the end, you will, when you do professional design, you will definitely land on Photoshop at some point. And if you prefer to work at this, because it's very easy to use, and the tools from Adobe, they all work very well together. So when you understood the philosophy of Photoshop, then you are basically, it's easier to just work with other tools as well. Also, sometimes I think it's crazy that you have 3 different tools, but they still are different in their kind of how they are structured. But to be fair, it's very nice to work with those tools, and I work with them like for more than 20 years. So I did a lot of designs back and forth, and I think Figma I know for 2 or 3 years now, and I'm really in love with this tool. That's really amazing. So that's how I would do things. That's the tools that are available, and I can add into the description some use cases and what tool you should use for which use case. So let's say you have an e-commerce and you want to arrange images, or you want to change your images and you want to structure it, or you want to, I don't know, you want to build some letters from with the branding of your company. You want to create a communication style like this. I will recommend all the tools and how I use it, and you can just quickly go into the tools and just rebuild it. I also will provide a lot of download files, so that you have Figma files, you will have Photoshop files, and then you can use them as well. So you can just open the files and you are good to go. I try to implement on all the necessary parts some files that you can download and use, and yeah, that's how I would approach graphic design nowadays. So in terms of tools.